Hey friends, Ed McDonough here, and welcome to Live Stream Wednesday, coming to you from Walpole, Massachusetts, and streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, and on livestreamwednesday.com. And today I'm super excited to have the sock queen, Lisa Riggs, on the show. So Lisa is the founder and CEO of Spirit Sox USA, and she helps businesses achieve their goals with custom socks, which are uniquely designed to match their personality. So Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ed. I appreciate you having me.
So glad to have you here. So first of all, I have to tell you that you're the first queen of anything I've ever had on Live Stream Wednesday. So this is super exciting for me because I have a queen on, so that's awesome.
Well, I am self-coronated, so it all.
No, but hey, that's okay. It's way better than guru, which is what people call me. Oh, he's the marketing guru. So it's all good. It's all good. So listen, socks. I'm a sock guy. I have like 50 pairs of all different kinds of socks, St. Patrick's Day, Christmas, all summer. I got them all. So tell us, like, how did you, tell us a little bit about your background and then how you came up with this concept and of what you're doing today. I think it's awesome.
Well, thank you. Actually, first, thank you, because sock lovers like you make my business survive and thrive. So sock lovers are my favorite people, I like to say. Honestly, I didn't come up with the business because I love socks. I was like a white sock wearing person for years before this. It came more from an idea. And the idea, actually, when I first started the business, was to use the socks as a fundraiser with schools, nonprofits, sports teams, bands, all that kind of stuff, because with my kids going through school, I was so tired of the cookie dough and the wrapping paper that, I was at the point where my kids were in middle school, high school, that I was just throwing money at it so I didn't have to buy the stuff and have it in my house anymore. And I felt like this isn't the right way to fundraise, and there's got to be a better way. And so I was actually on our education foundation board, and I was running the after school sports program at my daughter's middle school. And I had the idea for the socks for the sports teams and use them as a donation incentive because it was 90% parent funded. And we had our donations increased by 140%. I had people, because I had volunteered so much, I knew who donated and who didn't. And I had people who had never donated before giving me wadded up $1 bills just so they could get their pair of socks for their kid. And then they wore them as part of their uniforms. And so it was just this win-win. And we sold 200 pairs of socks in less than a week. And we had to order more. We sold 200 more. I had the rest of the school begging for them because we were only allowing the sports teams to use them. And it was just that cliche step back and sit with my husband at the kitchen table and go, should I do this? Should I make this a business? And so I did. So I built it from the ground up, from just an idea and from a white wearing sock person.
That's awesome.
No longer. I've been converted to wearing really fun socks because it is really fun. It's a great way to express your personality.
It's cool. I can't tell you the number of times that my son and I have taken a picture of our socks and texted back and forth. That's what I have on today. I have Iron Man on today.
I love that.
It's awesome. Awesome. So how long have you been in business now?
This is the 5th year.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's, I call it the 5th year. It's funny because my husband's always like, it's your 4th year because of the pandemic. Like, we're just going to out last year. But yeah, it's my 5th year in business. And I'm thankful, to have made it this far, and I see a bright future ahead.
Yeah. Awesome. So how has this helped organizations and companies, these custom socks?
Yeah. So I started with that fundraising aspect and quickly saw that we can customize a sock for anything. Like, we've done weddings, bat mitzvahs, 5Ks, and corporations as well, because there's just so many, because socks are popular, but they're also just a high quality, cost-effective item that you can give as a gift. And so when it comes to, an event or corporate gifting or employee appreciation, this is something that this is swag basically that they can, purchase without it killing the bank account. And it's something that people love. And the thing that we do as well, when we work with a lot of corporations and nonprofits and stuff, is instead of having their brand be the entire design of the sock, we'll subtly put the branding on the sock so that we come up with this really fun, great design that reflects them, but then we can put their branding subtly, on the foot or in other places. So when people wear the sock, your branding's still there, like your business card is still on it, right? But it doesn't necessarily show the world. They get to wear this really great pair of socks that they like. And so it's a win-win, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you do the design, or does the company do the design, or does it work both ways?
Most of the time, I would say 99% of the time we do the design. We really try to take that off of somebody else's plate. I have a very, very talented graphic designer who comes up with new ideas every single time, pretty much. And we're able to turn the designs around in just one business day. And so it's something that it's something we offer people so that they don't have that burden on themselves.
Yeah, I think that's tremendous, because I know a lot of people struggle with that, even just, like trying to figure out what their new logo is going to look like. So it's awesome that you guys can do that.
Exactly.
So can you give me an example of how, I'm sure you have a ton of them, but give me an example or two of how a company has come to you, they've got their custom design, and how they've used the socks to get their message out, or do some branding, or do some fundraising.
Yeah. I can give you an example for each one of them. I can,
please.
One of my favorite corporate socks, they were doing it as corporate gifting, and they had a logo that was space, and like it was almost like Jupiter was their logo, and it had their S in it and stuff. And so we made this space sock, and we incorporated their logo into the design, and they used them as gifts for their best customers, and they said they were gone in a week. When the salespeople saw them, they wanted to send them to their best customers, and they were gone. They were so happy with them. And so that's something, kind of a corporate gifting example. One of my favorite fundraising examples, I work with a lot of Down syndrome societies or nonprofits, because their hashtag every year is #lots of socks. And so they identify with these creative and unique socks every year. And actually the National Down Syndrome Association comes out with a sock design every year that a lot of them purchase. But I've worked with a lot of regional organizations. And my very favorite one was in Texas, where they had their members they did a sock design contest. And so they came back, and so they gave them the template of a sock, and they came back with these fantastic designs incorporating World Down Syndrome Day and Down syndrome, and it came from their heart. And so we were able, actually, they couldn't pick, they only wanted to do a few designs, but they were like, we have 8 winners. And so what we ended up doing was, one design was on the front of the sock and one was on the back of the sock. And so
cool.
We've been able to do that. And I just imagine them, walking around their town or their school with these socks that they designed. And I just, that was one of my favorite processes, where they designed it and then we brought it to life for them, and they got to wear it for World Down Syndrome Day and beyond.
Wow. That's amazing. Unbelievable. So what's the process? Like, take me through the process of how somebody, contacts you and you guys come up with a design, and you work together with them. Take us through that.
Sure. Yeah. The whole goal for my process is to be simple, because of my background with, different fundraising and just different events. We want to keep this simple. So yeah, they can contact us, and like I said, we can turn the design around in one business day. All we really need is a logo and colors, but we like to incorporate branding guidelines if they have that. So we make sure that we're using the logo and the colors properly. And then once we turn that around, it's kind of up to them to figure out quantity, and we place the order. It's really that simple. Production takes but depending on the time of year, production's about 3 or 4 weeks. But if they have a date or event, I think there has not been a time, knock on wood, that we actually haven't hit somebody's date or event that they needed. And so we just work, as quickly as the customer needs. One of the reasons I love my production manager, she and I, whenever somebody asks us, can you do this? We always say yes, and then figure out how to do it. And I love, actually, one of the reasons I love her so much is because that's the attitude you have to have, right? When you're growing a small business, is, yep, of course we can do this. And then in the background, we're like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? But we figure it out.
Yeah, we all, as business owners, we all do that. So
absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about that. So is this your first business?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, so awesome. So talk to me a little bit about that experience, because I know a lot of people who listen to this show are people who are thinking about starting a business. So I always like to pick the brain of somebody who's done it. So talk to me about that process for you.
Sure. Yeah. I have a background in HR. I was in HR for years and HR management. I think that actually really helped. I never took a marketing or sales class in college. And so that was, or beyond. And so that was a concern for me, but I certainly wasn't going to let it hold me back. I would say to somebody starting a new business, there's a couple of key things I think you need to do is one, test your market. Like people, you can have a great idea, but who is your customer? And then how are you going to acquire that customer? That's really, really a key thing. I've seen a lot of businesses fail actually because they know who their customer is, but they don't know how to get them. And we don't have, obviously the giant marketing budgets. We don't have these things. And so, that larger, more established companies have. And so how are you going to get your customer? Are you brick and mortar? Are you, if you're online, how are you competing with the other 8 million people on Amazon if you're selling on Amazon? And no, really, it's a key thing. And then I think the second key is really just you have to accept failure. You have to be okay with failure. And then you have to be ready to get back up the next day. And that's what I certainly have had my challenges and there are days where you get knocked down and I allow myself to have a pity party that night. But I dust myself off the next day and I've got to get back up. And especially I think over this last year with the pandemic, I actually had a couple people say to me, like I was having just a really bad day and they're like, oh, Lisa, you've had a good run. Maybe it's just time. And I got so defensive. I was like, it is not. I've worked so hard to get here. And so it's funny when someone else says it, right? There's like,
yeah.
But you have to have that attitude of if you're ready to give up, don't even start because it's going to be really, really hard. And it takes the biggest sales, the biggest customers take the longest to get, right? And so that might be years before you get that. And how are you, what are you going to be doing to get there? And how are you going to be able to get up every morning and go at it? And so, yeah, I think you just really have to be able, and I'm a perfectionist, so this is not an easy thing for me, but yeah, I know it, but it's also just, it's that persistence and that determination that I think you have to have.
Yeah, you just got to keep doing it. And it's so true. And it's so great to hear that from you, someone who's, pretty new in business and have come through that. So kudos to you for sticking in there. And, those are fighting words when I hear somebody say, oh, it's just time to give up and move on. It's like, no way.
Exactly.
What's that expression? When the going gets tough, the tough get going, right? So that's what we have to do. So awesome. So talk to us a little bit about, so I hate using the pivot word, but we all kind of did it. So what happened when you learned about COVID and things were shutting down and what was your thoughts and what was your process to get through that?
I know I joke that pivot, my favorite Friends episode is the one with Ross yelling pivot when they're trying to move the couch. And I joke 2020 ruined it because I laugh like out loud at that every time I see it. And I was like, no, now you ruined the word pivot because I love it. But thankfully I was able to start to customize masks, face masks. And so that was the way we were able to pivot and survive last year because when everything shut down and everything got canceled, socks were really the last thing on people's mind, and rightfully so. We were scared to go to the grocery store, right? And sanitizing our mail. So buying custom socks is not a priority in a circumstance like that. However, being safe and protected is, and so we were able to pivot to offering customized masks. And so I worked with corporations and schools and nonprofits, a lot of actually people who were supposed to have walk runs or 5Ks, and they had them virtually. We did masks for them. And so we were able to incorporate their branding with schools. We were able to, and offices who weren't able to work from home. We incorporated their branding onto the mask, and I think it hopefully made it easier for them to just put that on every day and go to where they needed to go and be safer.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So good for you for thinking of that. And I'm sure that helped you get through and just keep it going until the Sox came back. So
it really did. Yeah, I'm very grateful. And then it helped, what I was thrilled about is I pride myself on the quality of our socks. That's why I'm happy. Like, I always send people samples all the time because I feel like the sock sells itself when they have it. And the masks ended up being just as high quality. They had adjustable ear straps and an adjustable nose bridge. They were 3-layer cotton. And so I had soccer teams telling me they were the only ones they could breathe in and wear while they were playing. And so thankfully we were able to keep up that standard of quality that I have as well with adding that new product. And I still have it now. I don't think it's going to be, I hope it's not needed. But I still have it in case anybody needs it. I'm in California, and I'm not sure that California schools aren't going to require masks when they go back. And so it's just, it's going to be in flux, and I'm here if anybody needs, for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. So what's on the horizon?
Oh, that's a good question.
Anything new, anything exciting, any tangent, verticals that you're going to go after? Or is it just socks?
It's funny. People keep asking me, when are you going to expand? Like, when are you going to offer beanies or scarves or t-shirts? And my response is usually, I really believe in doing one thing and doing it well. And granted, yes, I say that after talking about adding masks, but that was a global pandemic situation. So I think we can use that, excuse that one. But yeah, I honestly, I don't see adding any products in the near future. While socks are popular, they have been the most popular selling apparel items since 2018. And as long as they continue to be that popular, that's where I plan to stay and just continue to, to outfit people's feet in comfortable branded socks. And we also give, I give 5% back of my profits to underserved communities. And so, the larger we get, the more I hope that we can do some good in the community. And that's, to me, if you're asking that, that's what I look forward to is what can I improve? What good can I do? Can I bring a Title I school, like the entire school, a pair of socks for the students because they probably couldn't afford to buy them, without this and things like that. And so, I'll look forward to just continuing to make socks for as many different organizations as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that it's so great that you're in the mode of giving back. Yeah, that's so important to be able to do that. So, and a lot of businesses do it in many different ways, but I think what you're doing is kind of special too, because if you can give somebody a warm pair of socks, that's nice. And I'm on the East Coast in Boston, the Boston area. So that's one of the things that the shelters are looking for all the time are socks. It's like one of the biggest things, socks and gloves and hats up here, right? Yeah. And so, we do a lot of work with charities and stuff, and that's one of the things they're always asking for are those three things. So awesome.
Yeah, I've actually donated over 2,500 pairs of socks to the city of San Jose already, because that's my local city. And it was, the homeless socks are the #1 requested item. If you think about it, because they don't have access to laundry. Yeah. And they get used so quickly that, so I continue to do that, as well as reaching out to other parts of communities and help them.
That's fantastic. Good for you. Good for you.
Thanks.
So I'm going to put your website up here again. Is this the best way for people to get in touch with you if they want to learn more, figure out if they have something that's going to work for them? Is that the best thing to do?
I think that's probably the best way for sure. One of the things I always am is completely transparent. So all of the information is on the website. They can learn all about it. And there's a lot of buttons where they can click to contact us directly and start a conversation if they'd like to do that, or even schedule time on my calendar to schedule, just a quick conversation. And it's never, no obligation. It's always, we offer. The samples and the mock-up designs are free and no obligation, because we feel like, how are you supposed to make your decision if you don't have all of the information possible, right? We want you to know what it's going to look like. We want you to know what the quality is going to be. And so we're always happy to provide that.
Yeah, awesome. And people can get in touch with you, obviously, through LinkedIn.
Yes.
I know a lot of our watchers are connecting through that. The other thing I wanted to, and this just popped in my head, so it's live, so we're just going to roll it. Tell us about the different styles of socks. We never really talked about that.
Oh, sure. Yeah. We offer, I would say the athletic crew sock is probably what I sell 90% of the time. It's the most popular one, kind of modeled after the Nike Elite sock. But we have dress socks and we have high-end dress socks. But we even have fuzzy socks and ankle socks, and we do tie-dye, which is super fun. And we do sublimation. Most of our socks are custom knit, but if we have a design, which I have a very good one coming that I can't give away yet, but and you'll see it, and hopefully the rest of the world will see it. Actually, it's and so it was a design that was so detailed that we needed to print it, to sublimate it. So we're pretty much able to do just about anything.
Awesome. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's been awesome to have you here. Hang out backstage for a minute so we can chat afterwards. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody, and I'll catch up with you in a minute. So thanks for being on today.
Thank you very much, Ed. I appreciate the opportunity.
So everybody, I just want to thank you for tuning in to Livestream Wednesday and watching the show today. Of course, if you have any questions about getting custom socks for your organization or your company, please get in touch with Lisa. Again, you can get in touch with her through LinkedIn or through her website, spiritsoxusa.com. So that's it for today. We'll see you next time right here on Livestream Wednesday. Take care.
Thanks for watching Livestream Wednesday. This show is sponsored by ECE Marketing Services. If you would like to acquire more prospects and generate more sales from your website month after month, take a look at our automated business systems at ecemarketingservices.com.